All right, my friends. Hambbage here once again, welcoming you back, or for the first time, to yet another hardcore vanilla Minecraft stream. So glad you guys dropped by, and hope we can all have some fun here together. So, what do we got going? Well, it's very early for me. Not super early. Sun's up. It's like quarter after 7 my time in the morning, and I've been up for an hour and a half or so. But very early streaming wise. That's usually I've got a few more hours, but busy day. And I don't know if we're. Oh man, I forgot we still got all these to put away. So we got projects days, and they're not going to be super ooper. Oh, first project, we got to go fix all this stuff. That's a great start to the day, though. By the way, do we want to cook? Do we have more stuff cooking? I don't know. Let's go. We'll figure it out. Let's go to the darkroom spawner. Perfect spot to kind of collect our vision for the next few days. It was odd. I was definitely thinking of the world last night as I lay me down to sleep. It was. I don't usually spend a lot of time like thinking, but I don't know. Just a few ideas striking and being rejected variously for the tower, the basement. Still no closer to any real definitive style or plan, but we'll get there. So this one, let's go up. Let's see what, if anything, we have in here. Oh wow, we got a lot of sand going, and those are still cooking, and we still have some of the stone in the hoppers. I think. Come on. Yeah, so those will finish up. Maybe we can split back over the sand and just keep. Well, actually, we could start smooth cooking. Grab grab out a bunch of those and just make them into sandstone. But none of that is top priority at the moment. Top priority at the moment is getting our creepers here. Give us some XP. Now, we don't have just a super farm, whether that's an Enderman farm or some of the people that set up out of the Nether have very exposed chunks and things like that, where you can get lots and lots and lots of kills. The other one that's a pretty good just low drop off repair, and I'd kind of, in a perfect world, would love to have just a variety, right? Like, we need to repair this shovel. So we go by a cactus farm, and we've been repeatedly letting cacti grow and harvest themselves and feed down into a furnace system and cook. And all we have to do is go touch that to pull a bunch of passive XP that's just been building, and boom, we've got a tool. And then we go down the line and we've got um, some, I don't know, cooking that's been going on our stoves, right? We can go through and gather all those, and those pop a little bit of XP for us in turn. So there's lots of ways to kind of piecemeal it without a huge long-term build project. And at least at the moment, that would kind of be my preference. I don't know. We'll see how we end up shaping things out, where we go with that. But yeah, for the time being, we're just kind of caught the best, or kind of the best dual purpose XP repair situation that I have in this current world, or any others really, that I really like to use, is the sorry, just switching these out, the nether quartz. gathering it and then repairing it as it goes along. Let's get our wings done. They don't need much. Nice. We'll get a few little bits of progress here. So yeah, lots more going on in my world today, and I don't know what the recording schedule will exactly look like. So I wanted to get one in early, and then heading out. I got appointments and stuff to do throughout, all out and about. So not exactly sure when or if I'll be back to pop in and do another round. But as we'd alluded to, the next big process that we want to work on is going to be our basement. It's something that's stylistically irked me a little bit, just that it's been sitting there unfinished, and we go up and down. We use it a lot, at our base. We probably use it more than we do upstairs. But it's ugly, and I'd like to get that dealt with. And the big motivation there is we've got all those those lime green shulker boxes, and they're all full of terracotta. And right now, we don't have a good storage space for terracotta at all. But I'd like to have a lot of it. I really enjoy it as a building supply, and would like to get some more. And we've got that beacon set up, so we'll definitely be back over in the terracotta world. Let that top off a little bit. See what we can get for some screenshots. Yeah, this is where we slow down a little bit. Just waiting on the generation. And I can't recommend these farms strongly enough. If you are just starting out in hardcore, just starting out in Minecraft, where you're playing in survival and you're trying to build things up, this setup is very, very helpful early game. You can build it fairly safely. I've lost a lot of worlds over the years building these. There's some real challenges as you're getting that set up if you do it wrong or don't ensure the right coverage and they start spotting you from above. That's trouble. You don't want to have a whole bunch of creepers that are suddenly sizzling in this chamber. But if you can get it working, then you have your gunpowder and your why not? I don't know what we're gonna get for good thumbnails here in the next. Ooh, maybe we get a sunset. Get a few options. Everybody likes a good sunset, right? So yeah, the only real drawback here for me is that when recording, it's no fun sitting around to wait for it to fill up. When you're playing solo, you're not making content, or you can be AFK. It's great. I really like this one if I'm, doing like just boring old house chore kind of stuff, cleaning around, tidying stuff up, doing laundry, all that kind of stuff. This is a great. Hey guys, this is a great setup for that exact scenario. Yeah, we'll get you guys too. Yeah. All right. just just camera day. It'll entertain us. But yeah, any of those kind of things where you're doing a lot of 15, 20-minute tasks at a time, and you just kind of keep the computer open and running. You when I am particularly when I'm starting out, I just go stand something like this. That way, if an Enderman should come along, I can't possibly look him in the face and lose my world. Again, remember, you're hardcore. AFK is not just a throwaway deal if you're gonna do anything with it, and that's about as I've never been a fan of. Oh, I just want to set up a world to run while I'm asleep. That part kind of seems off to me. Not that it's not cheaty, really. I mean, you can certainly do it. It just, I don't know. I want to be a part of the stuff that I make in a world, not just let it happen in the background. So that's just my personal preference. Nothing wrong with letting a world run. But for that, where I'm kind of in and out and just doing other stuff, so I don't have to do this. Walk around in circles, waiting for the creepers to drop. Um, the other thought, I guess, or just topic when it comes to drop room spawners of any kind, this one is exclusively creepers, as you may be able to tell. Um, there are videos near the beginning of this series. I don't know how far in we were before we made it. A little ways. We didn't go immediately. I think we'd done the lodge first and had our farms going. But eventually we were like, yep, it's time. We got to get this done. So there are videos that show the building of all of this. Every bit of this world has been captured online or on YouTube. And if you really want to, you can go back and watch all the first episodes and see as we did this. I don't have a directory or anything. You can kind of see from the thumbnails and stuff what was going on or what we were working on and dial it in from there. But it is pretty cool. And by there's a series of here, we can go upstairs while we're waiting for these guys to drop. There's a series of chambers inside this big old box. Right, this area is just a deck. That's where we kind of started to work. The box is the meat of this, and each of those 4 squares is a building area. On top of these yellow and orange or red sandstone sections, there's water pushing anybody into the middle. And 3 levels, I believe, of elevated floor where there's no light in there, so they can spawn all day. And there's a 2-high floor on each one. And on the ceiling, or the floor of the next level, there are trapdoors. Those keep the height 2 minus the thickness of a trapdoor. And that just happens to work out that no zombies or skeletons can spawn in there. They're too tall, and only creepers can. We also put a little pattern of slabs on the floor to keep spiders from spawning in the midst of it. But between those two, it allows for what you're seeing here, an exclusive chamber of falling creepers. And we wanted that because gunpowder is hugely important, not only for the rockets that we use on our wings most recently, but also for making TNT. So we can go look for ancient debris, have fun in the nether, and without too much effort, we just rack up lots and lots of gunpowder, and we've been storing that over here. In other worlds, I don't always make this exclusive. I'll just maybe make a couple floors for creepers to try to skew them upwards. But I'll have zombies and skeletons as well. And that can be good for their drops. Oftentimes, this area will actually be double chests on both sides. Bone, the same stuff that we have in that kind of that first area of comments that first area of chests in the um, in the basement back at the base, where right as you're coming down on the right, you got gunpowder, bones, arrows, uh, zombie flesh, spider webs, all that kind of stuff. Now we don't ever really want spiders; they kind of get stuck up there because they can climb back up the tube. So we will always try to limit spiders if we can. But the rest of them, yeah, bring a whole mix, and that way you get the. We've kind of been building up our sets of chainmail and leather armor, gold armor, all those. And it's kind of unnecessary. It becomes pretty easy, but especially if you have a darkroom spawner, you can just grab out all those pieces, um, take the XP from any enchants that are on them, and then build yourself full set. So you've got them if you want them. And dyeing leather, some of those kind of things, pretty cool. So yeah, here we are, almost with at least one shovel fully done. Again, not the most riveting, but unfortunately, or fortunately by design, this doesn't run when we're not here, when it's not loaded, and that helps with the world lag, any kind of latency type stuff that we might be having. There's just less being run. If you build this at your spawn chunks, I believe it will go the whole time, and that's okay, but for the amount of use you're going to get out of it, it's maybe a little bit laggy. I don't know. I rarely get so built up that I have a lot of those issues, but it would be something to consider. And again, if I'm using AFK on it instead, um, or at least walk away, do something else, come back, do it. Even having Minecraft just in a minimized window. I usually play full screen, so it's kind of my full focus while it's running. But dropping it into a smaller window, you don't need a whole lot of fine detail and doing other online stuff or web stuff. It's a good background task to have going. So yeah, that about catches it up for anybody who may not have been over to our dark room spawner before. Welcome if you haven't. Hope you're enjoying the tour. It took about 10 seconds, but we'll cover every inch. This is the back of the portal. Very cool. This is the toolbox. Oh, we haven't checked how our cooker's doing. Getting there. Creeping along. I guess we can put our wings away. Good little task, right? So as I'd mentioned in one of the transits between I think it was on the way out to the Badland, the Mesa, and as we were going, I said, yeah, at some point we need to go into the Nether, and it's been, man, I don't know, 100 episodes or so since we were building our connection out to the Badlands. And the last time we spent just like a whole episode running on the surface in some of the old style Nether, grabbing up quartz and gold and fighting ghasts and all that kind of stuff. We need to do another one of those runs. I'd like to have that chest where we do our fortune breaking of ores more loaded up with quartz. Sorry, I was trying to stifle yawn. Like I said, it's early. I've been sipping on some coffee, but it hasn't had the chance. I don't know why I paused it there. Come on, that's creeper dropping time. Yeah, like I said, got outside. Man, it was borderline chilly. So nice. So nice. Last night, too, just felt cool and breezy. We had, I'd mentioned in yesterday's videos, we had good, like, soaking overnight rain the night before, and yesterday it stayed fairly cool all day. I haven't even looked. I don't know what what I've got coming for weather in the coming days, but expect at some point it's going to get hot again. But for the moment, at least, it's just a bright, beautiful morning that was crisp, crisp, kind of cool. And again, a few weeks back, it would have felt positively balmy because we'd been so cool uh, off and on through spring. But has a way of doing that. Um, Yeah, this is the problem. I really forgot about the tools. I thought we were just going to be carving out basement. I was going to be like, oh, I'll be half awake and just breaking stone, clearing out that area, talking kind of about decorating and cleaning that up, but basically getting a big space to throw our terracotta loots in. Anybody big Marvel fans? I finally, and I don't even know like if this is the end or how what the scheduling is. I watched the first two or only two. I don't even know. A couple episodes of Loki. Yeah, coffee sip here. Thought it was okay. Um, was a bit torn. I even way back in comic book days. I don't know that the Marvel representation of Loki is quite as representative, at least of my impression of the Norse god of mischief. Um, was at least according to the lessons I heard in youthful mythology courses, or where they well, we should probably mention Norse mythology here for a minute in the midst of Greek and Roman pantheons of gods, because in English, so many of the days and those things correspond, right? Wednesday, Odin's Day, and Thursday, Thor's Day. Um, Definitely time. And Friday, Freitag. So, um, yeah, it's very interesting that way back, they decided, yeah, let's split them up. We know about these Romans. Let's get some of them. So we got Saturn, Sun, and Moon. Um, and really, it's Tuesday. I never know. I'm sure I have, but feel free to drop if you guys know. What's the deal with Tuesday? What is it tying into? It's got to be something heavens or inspired that way, but um, I don't know which one that I know all the other days. So yeah, good pondering thought. Or the coffee just hasn't cooked, and I'll be like, oh man, you are so stupid. Can you believe that you recorded that you didn't know what that was? Everybody knows that Tuesday is the day that commemorates the binary numbering system and the duality of the world. It's a yin and yang deal. We'll see. Um, it seems like I had other stuff going on that I was. Maybe not though. I don't know. definitely did some online stuff yesterday. Um, but I really, I'd wrapped up pretty early in my content stuff yesterday, and actually got offline fairly early, and just didn't feel a whole lot of need to spend hours and hours staring. It was nice and cool, and like I said, beautiful out. So spent a bunch of time outside and uh, made a. I don't know how healthy it is exactly. When I was a kid growing up, one of my absolute favorite dishes ever was um, the family version of pea salad, like green peas. And I don't know where, I'm sure my mom know, they all know. It's just kind of in one ear out the other. But through some, like church or friends or something, I don't know which of them first got it, but both my mom and my grandmother and even my aunt, it's so easy to make that occasionally they would all make it. When I was a kid, it was like, oh, it's your birthday. What do you want after dinner? Well, pea salad was definitely on the list, and usually it was like, oh yeah, we can do whatever you want. Well, can we have some meatloaf? No, it's not glamorous. Meatloaf is typically, how to make meat go further, right? It's basically just filled and then baked. But I love it. As a kid, I love ketchup too. I was like, oh yeah, give me seasonings. All I need is ketchup. You take all that fancy steak sauce and everything else. Give me some ketchup on some steak. Oh, it was awful. Nowadays, I'd look back at myself and be like, "Oh, you're ruining it. Don't do it." But as a kid, I was where it was at. I guess all kids are kind of like that. Ketchup is fairly bland. It's it's interesting if you ever check like the popularity or consumption of condiments and things, how much they change over the years, and um, really in the first half of the 20th century, ketchup was the unquestioned, undisputed king of everything. I mean, think of the Heinz food group and empire, and that was all ketchup. Okay, something that you can use to flavor the then largely American diet of, lots of beef, lots of vegetables, eggs, those kind of things, and it seemed to go pretty universally with all of them. So it's just, it could sit on a shelf without going bad or turning. So it had long shelf life, didn't have to go. And, the old Heinz glass bottles of ketchup, man, those were an institution. And of course, mustards and all those kind of things have been around for probably longer, and relishes and all those kind of things. But it was really salsa that kind of became the undoing when the idea of a more seasoned but still tomato-based condiment that had a little more interest to it reflected the change in palate. People wanting something a little more complex, and of course that blew things wide open. For one thing, not only could you use it on food, but it was marketed as going on chips, and that the two together, the corn chip had been a fairly lowly snack relative to like potato chips were the big deal way back in the day, and um, somewhere in Texas, I'd read something on the whole history of it, like the history of nachos, and it was a amateur, like a minor league baseball stadium, I think. It was where if anybody knows or has a link to or something, something that recounts and it's kind of one of those that because it's not official documentation or anything, it kind of gets embellished, and there's widely ranging disputing who was the founder or creator of the nacho kind of stuff. Because I'm sure, while it's all tongue in cheek, like, hey, I want royalties for that, you still get a little bit of swag if you could say, yeah, I was the one. And taking that institution, or, that just kind of mystery cheese stuff and pouring it over the top. That was really, it wasn't the fancy restaurant nachos that got bastardized um, to stadium nachos, where you just have chips in a tray covered in the synthetic cheese sauce. Is actually the other way around. Those were where it started, and then uh, restaurants and things, people, they immediately were so widely popular that then restaurants and things said, yeah, we should have these as an appetizer. People that come in to watch sports or whatever, the old popcorn and peanuts on the floor kind of stuff, we can actually sell these for a higher price. They're more of a meal, and if we, hey, what do you say, throw some grilled chicken on there or something, then we can charge an extra buck or two, and that's where the additional ingredients, topping them up, kind of making them a pseudo meal came into play. But that again, going back to the whole ketchup thing, that was where salsa, think paste picante sauce and all the others, where those blew up and became huge business, because suddenly Frito and all the other chip manufacturers wanted to get in on the act, because they would bundle their particular corn chip, not a huge value item at the best of times, with a bunch of other stuff. And of course, in parallel, you're getting Doritos going into a wild expansion of flavors, and um, the rest, I guess, as they say, is history. Nowadays, a air puffed bag of corn chips is 4 or 5. I don't even know. I don't really buy them anymore. But just the grocery store size, not the pseudo individual size, but like the bag of Doritos that you would share at a party or a picnic or something like that. Whatever that size is. What are those, like $4, $5, $6? Just at a grocery, not like it's someplace that's going to totally inflate the price or anything, but it's kind of crazy. There's not a ton in there, but the bottom line is, that's largely throwaway product of a grain, corn, a staple, and you can use the ugly, non-appealing, past its prime, non-sweet corn, grind it up into a meal, form it into the chips, and drop them in a fryer in a very institutionalized process, and without a whole lot of cost, get a huge return. And then that's where the whole science food industry stuff comes in, the preservatives and the coloring and the flavoring, uh, to meet all palates and have something for everybody. So I don't know, I find that fascinating. But anyway, the ketchup diversion was off of when I was a kid. Yeah, among others, these simple type dishes that I had for uh, the extreme favorites that were, what would you like us to make it, for a special meal or whatever. Well, pea salad was one of them. And for anybody I'm assuming it's just a Midwestern type deal. Anybody that doesn't know, this is pretty basic stuff. It's like iceberg lettuce chopped with cooked and cooled peas. There's the pea salad part. And then a little bit of cooked and crumbled bacon, but not just like bacon bits. You got to like actually cook and crumble the bacon, and a little bit here, and then a couple of hard-boiled eggs, diced and sliced, so that they're mixed in, and then with like a mayo-y dressing stirred in, and so good. Well, I was just looking for like it's still summer, right? I don't want anything super heavy for late lunch yesterday. I was like, oh, I'll kind of improvise it, and I made just cooked some peas and then rinsed them in cold water to cool them back down, and when I sprinkled in a couple little things and just like a half teaspoon of the only kind of like saucing that I have is I use just a little bit of teriyaki at times for seasoning. So very light, like a half teaspoon of that mixed into a little bit of mayo, and then stirred that over that with a little sprinkling of cheese into my peas yesterday. And I think between the cheese and the mayo, it kind of cancels out any good. But oh man, what's your favorite boring vegetable? Obviously, Hambbage, gets cabbage up on the list, but um, that's really more of like a cooking built-in thing. I'm not like every time I go to the grocery store, got to make sure I have some cabbage. If I don't, things aren't going to go well. It's more of an occasion, and especially in the winter, I like it. But um, I, I I like coleslaw and stuff like that. I don't eat that a whole lot either. Again, the mayo-y kind of stuff. There's healthier salads to have, but peas I think are tops, and I love veggies. I have a lot of favorite vegetable type dishes, but um, I think most diversely across the board, peas are where it's at when I consider, if you were going to be on a desert island and you could only have one vegetable type, what would it be? I think that would be the one I'd go for. So let's do this. This is another. Oh, doesn't matter too much because we're going to just get. We're going to try not to make the wrong type this time. Okay. Now, how many did that get us? 3. There you go. Oh, wait. That doesn't even matter. Because these should all split out evenly between the two. We'll hope. Come on. I don't know why the scaffolding is so finicky when it comes to that. Okay, so they should both pull equal amounts, and then we've still got the rest of this to cook into glass as it goes. So we'll see how that balances out. Just another way to help us a little bit. And as we've said, we do need a bunch of the smooth regular sandstone as well. That'll kind of, continue to make our tower build and this build similar. And I think we're probably going to be pretty close. It's tough to estimate. I mean, for a lot of people, that's their job to. Oh, I forgot the things. Darn it. But just at a guess, how much will we need for that tower? How much will we need for the rest of the build stuff? It's inexact in my mind, but we should have a good start. Again, we've got several chests of the red should be ready to go, and that's going to be the dominant color on our big tower. And we'll do some white as an accent kind of color, but again, these are towers. They're not going to be overly colorful or embellished. This is still kind of a fortification. And then on the inside, we'll do some more building, but hopefully that will allow us to kind of push the wall back around. We'll have the one side coast to coast, so to speak, across the peninsula, and move on to some more building from there. So, well, it'd be good to see how that comes out. So 2 tools remaining. We're about over halfway. This is going to sound pretty awful. Again, as I said, it's pretty early. I can hear some people, like walking by the front of my place, going out to their cars and stuff, starting their day. And I can't quite tell if what I'm hearing, you guys, even if I was just quiet, I don't think it would get picked up by the mic, but there's like just that little murmur. And I'm like, I can't quite tell if that's a person having a conversation or a dove going. Blah, 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 blah. These are the things. These are the things. Again, this is where the silver lining of these slower things comes in, is we are just jamming up this chest again with gunpowder, and that's so helpful. All the TNT we can make. Oh, there's another cactus. Ooh. That's where the cactus farm towers can come into play. Cactus will break if there's, anything in the squares beside them. It's like you can't have a cactus growing right against a wall for whatever reason. It just won't do it. So you can build it up, and then here, every time it tries to grow into the third height, this glass piece will cause that to break, and it'll just pop off. Well, if you make a grid of those and fill the areas with water and put a hole in the middle, each of them with a single piece of glass or, a fence post or whatever next to them, they'll keep breaking off. And those will all then gather thanks to the water, and you can make, this high of cactuses all growing above and below one another. And if you have enough, then you have a pretty constant stream of pieces of cactus, and you can cook those into green dye and get experience for them. So really the only thing then is you need to fuel the furnaces constantly, and if you have a good bamboo farm. Okay, I did get them. Sorry guys, at least you'll live on in the picture. Man, if I could hit you. Whew. Well, that was unfortunate, but he was begging for it. He kept sticking his head in there next to the creepers. Not really powering up our levels, but again, we're repairing through all this, so we don't have a ton of stuff. If we just sat, again, if you're doing your enchanting or getting started off that way, pretty decent way to turn some books. And I think we demoed that a little bit early on. If you're looking to look at all these that I'd left here. You could practically make a whole new bow. We need some more punch. This was a good way to spend some time while we're here looking at these. So these are all Trident stuff. We now have another channeling back at the base too, because I wasn't aware we had these stored. So these are all Trident. Loyalty is the one where if you throw your Trident, it will come back to you. Don't just throw a Trident if you are lucky enough to get one without having that on. Channeling pulls the lightning. That's what we need to get an advancement. Couple of them actually, because it will now help with the lightning rod near village too. But we also want to get villagers and see what happens if we call down lightning power on one of them, and creeper, because I want the charged creeper to take down. So lots of stuff there, but if we hadn't pulled away all the books, oh, we do have bows. Is there anything we currently need levels for? Did they change the rain sound also? It sounds different. For the bows, we already have unbreaking. Yeah, I'm not going to waste time with it because we don't have any clean books. What I was kind of coming to, though, is when you're doing enchanting, trying to get set up, once you have base enchants on things and are looking for value out of books, or you're rolling through, like this, where we've got a bow. This is exactly the scenario I'm talking about. We got a bow. We don't particularly want Unbreaking 3 on it because we already have that on a book. If it just comes, great. We'll take it, not use the book. But we would then want to I don't have anything for books. We would then want to use unenchanted books and check this. If it's not something we want, go enchant an unenchanted book. And there you can look through, and like it'll have a highest level, a medium tier, and a bottom tier enchantment available. If the third tier one is good, you take it and you go, okay, that's a great enchantment. I want that. It'll eat up a lot of your levels as you do. 3 of them to be exact. Or likewise with the 2 if it's something that's rare and you really want it. Presuming that it's not, though, that these are just stuff you already have or don't have a real value for, then you just take the low one for a single level and you keep rolling through books, and every time that you get something that's not ideal there, you just bring them over, unenchant them, get back a little bit of experience, and keep going with the cycle. And you can do that pretty constantly while you're waiting on creepers, because the creepers will fill up your levels, and if you're going all the way down to the bottom of your XP, so you're down to a low-level character while you're waiting for, or while you're looking at all the enchantments, then you can get 15 levels at the bat of an eye just waiting for these guys to drop and fill up, so you can recoup that XP pretty quickly. And if you're not repairing stuff as we are, you wouldn't even really sit at that 39, but I kind of like to stay 20 and below as I'm looking at books until I find something I want, and then I'll build up XP to go get it, and then drop back down again. There. So we're now cooking smooth sandstone, which is great, and should just have our glass factory going over here. Oh. Getting close to the end, and we still have one tool we didn't even come close to here. It's a shame. I wish our little creeper friends had done a bit more in the way of spawning and dropping. But when you consider that we had a whole bunch of tools that were completely worn down to the nubs and got most of those already done, it's not ideal, right? That's what I've spent most of this time trying to emphasize is it takes a while. There's no exact perfect solution, but this is a good one. And has some added side bonuses, whether it's enchanting or grabbing the gunpowder or anything else. Watching your cactus grow. All valid pastimes. I think they broke the AFK Fisher. At one time, I had made I was like this, like had a table and a bucket of water and a dispenser hopper or something. You know, you basically got set up to where you were facing it. It was like 4 blocks long or something like that. And as long as you cast your fishing line at the table, it would just sit there and blop, 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 blop. And it didn't really fill in the need for waiting on the creepers or being AFK, but you could at least get a couple things done at the same time. But I think the developers unmade that, or at least nerfed it somehow, so it wasn't a thing. For a while, that was all the rage. What do you mean you don't have an AFK Fisher? You gotta have an AFK Fisher. It's totally the best XP form, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, yeah, but you're getting fish and a bunch of garbage as you go along with it. I mean, it's kind of nice. For the cats and all that, you've just got your fish ready to go. But I have certainly shown, I think, just by being able to go and get fish with your sword now, you can have plenty. You just find one of those rivers that's teeming with salmon, bop, 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 and you got stacks of them. So not overly worried there. Ooh, phantoms? Should go get some phantoms? They really hate it here because they get stuck under the... I thought I'd heard them. Maybe the rain chased them off? Oh well. Would have been a fun culmination. At least get this pick done. Oh, there it is. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Yeah, so they can't all be racked with excitement episodes. Wow. We don't have a ton of need for storm yet, but could go to the desert and look for a charged creeper. Such a long shot. We're not going to end this episode anyway. We're going to give it the last few minutes here. Hope to get this last pickaxe done. Although I know that's a long shot. I really thought we'd be up to Phantom spawning by this point. Hope our villagers are doing okay out there in the distance. The dark. Get the lodge out this way. Somewhere out there. And the village is back that way. So, like I said, we do have the desert quarry out there, but I have not ever had the good fortune to have a storm actually hit a creeper itself. I guess it's possible. I don't know what the odds are of that, or if there even are stated. You know, it's probably all there, but you know, you basically have to have the factors of lightning, you have to have the factors of creepers in the area, and on top of all that, you have to have the lightning decide that it's going to go for the creepers, not the trees or the grass or a skeleton or a skelly horse or anything else. One away. Yay! Well, we got that one done. And hey, we still got a couple minutes. So I'm just going to work this right on up to the end. Not going to go over an hour. Don't want to make this one too painful. But I'd like to at least, if we're going to have a dark room spawner episode, let's make the most of it, right? Right? That's what I thought. You guys are so on board. And you're so patient. I appreciate you all hanging out, watching this stuff. You know, it gets a little broken record sounding as we rehash it time and again, but a lot of people don't know and don't appreciate that a part of hardcore is not just surviving and not getting killed to lose your world. Hardcore is also functioning in a world where you don't have quote unquote cheats. You know, it's not my word, that's the game. You don't have the option to bring in materials. You often don't see that when you're watching like a hardcore YouTuber, because they'll go do that offline. You know, they'll AFK, build a machine off to the side and AFK up some materials. And again, no harm in doing that, but this is a Let's Play. Here's a hardcore world. If I, you know, step too far into here and a creeper goes off and kills me, takes down this whole operation, I don't want that to happen because I was doing it AFK and you guys didn't see it, and I have to come back to just a cratered ruin of this and say, yeah, sorry guys, didn't have the camera running, my bad. Watching somebody try to reenact something in Minecraft is a little less compelling. So that's the reality of our series. We just need to press through and get some of these things done. You guys get front row seats for it. Sometimes it's super glamorous. Sometimes it's this. And no apologies there. You can tell. It stifles a yawn for me too. It just kind of it's like, I don't know, trimming your toenails, right? Nobody really, oh yeah, today's the day, man. I get to go get the clippers out and, you know, get my foot all contorted up so I can angle it right, and it's going to be great. They're going to be so clean and short and all that. Now I get it, right? Some of the ladies out there doing the whole pedicure thing, and hey guys, if you're down with that, maybe I'm just missing out. But I've always just been the old clipper, get it done. Yeah, I get it. Some people are like, yeah, toenails. I'm gonna be sandal season. I'm gonna dress them up. Me, I just hope that they don't have massive black bruises where I've dropped something on a toenail or kicked something or whatever. I seem to, as soon as I get them all cleaned up, something new happens. And toenails, man, they grow so slow. It's like, oh, well, that's gonna be another year of watching that thing grow up from the base of my toe to the top. Anyway, that was too much information, I'm sure. We've done it. We've gotten through this episode. We've got the wrath of the Minecraft gods here. Now that I'm just chatting, I can't. This is the worst. We were set to stop. As soon as I was like, oh, toenail day, we could have been out right at 60 minutes there. But look at, now we're into yellow. A lot of XP. All right, that's it. Saving the game before we get any more delays. It hasn't any, never, no ending here. So guys, thank you so much. You all know my recommendation when you're watching these videos. Make sure to give yourself some breaks along the way. This certainly helps me and reminds me that I don't want to sit for hours at a time and then wonder, wow, why do I feel so stiff and sore? Why do I have a headache? Well, because I just sat still for 6 hours and stared at a screen. Try to break those things up into manageable chunks and get up, move around, and give your eyes and your brain a break. You've all heard me say it before. I'm saying it to myself as much as you guys. And while you're up and at it, see if you can help somebody else. Do them a favor. Help knock out some kind of a task. I'm going to try to do that myself. Maybe back later. We'll see. Certainly I'll be out and about today, and we'll look forward to all the fun we're going to have next time. Depending on that storm, if we log back in and that storm's still going, we may swing through the desert just to see what's going on there. But basement fun awaits. We gotta get that thing get the thing set up to a hangout room, not a basement of rafters and concrete slab kind of deal. Although that would look really good relative to what we've got right now. So anyway, we'll see. Take care of yourselves. Stay the awesome, wonderful people that you are. Remember, likes and comments are so appreciated, especially the comments. I really enjoy the feedback, and hope you guys are enjoying it. I know we've got a bunch of folks, increasing folks, and I say bunch relatively. We're not the big boys. And this is content some people really dig. Others want the quick and dirty. So if you're in for the long haul, want something to play in the background, I welcome you. Tell your friends, anybody that's playing Minecraft, come on by and subscribe. If you want to know when my next videos are going to drop, hit that subscribe button. It'll show up in your YouTube feed, or watch for Twitter. I don't tweet every video. I don't think there's quite a need for that, but as we do shift into maybe some more streaming and all that, that certainly becomes more relevant when it might be a going live situation. So more to come on all that in the days and weeks ahead, but for now, stay awesome. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.